uh, was many years ago. I was 12 years old, and WHAP radio went on the air in 1949 when I was that age. Okay, and they had a contest, uh, and they wanted to find a young person that would be a DJ for them. Well, the contest took place, and I happened to win the contest, and so I won my own radio show at 12 years old. And it was a lot of fun. You know, the show was held on every Saturday morning for as long as I wanted to do it, and which was a long time. And I graduated from that, and then became the radio voice of the Hopewell Blue Devils and the area high schools, not just Hopewell, but all the other area schools, and did the play-by-play broadcast for uh, from, I don't remember the year I started, but the last year I did was in 1960 was when I got married, and my wife and I uh, were together. Then I had to do other things where I could make more money. But she's been very supportive of me through all of this. And in 1980, when they started having VCRs to be able to record things on video and show them, I became interested in video. And in 1984, I actually opened up my own television channel. And it is still in operation even as we speak today. I had a friend who was a handicapped person. His name was Mike McGuire, and he was trying to start a video business, and just didn't. He couldn't do the things that needed to be done because he didn't have legs to do it. And so he asked me would I help him, and his company went bankrupt. And I said, well, told Judy, my wife, that we needed to consider taking over that venture from him and bailing him out of his problems. And I purchased all the equipment that they had, and actually I bid on the TV channel, but I didn't get it the first time that I bid on it. It was actually given to a company in West Virginia, and it's a long story, but the only way I know to tell it is the fact that one day I turned to channel 3 on the cable system, and it was blank. And I got on the phone and I told the people down at the office there, I cut the channel on and there's nothing on. Would you tell me why it's not on? Because, you know, they have a contract to it. You gave them the contract, and I wanted to operate the channel at that time, but you gave it to them. So what happened? Well, it so happened that they went bankrupt and the bank took all their equipment from them. And I said, well, can I come down there and have a talk with you? And I went down to them and I talked to them, and they asked me how long would it be before I could get them on the air if I took over the channel. And I said, well, I only live 20 minutes from here, so if you'll give me 20 minutes, I'll be back with the equipment and I can start the channel right now. I already had the equipment. So as it worked out, that's how I got started. And I had not even signed the contract with them yet, but they said, we'll be fair with you, you know, but we want it back on the air because we're not meeting the contractual obligation we have with the city and counties around this area we guarantee the channel, and then we're not providing it. But if you can provide it, we'll work together and we'll get it back on the air. And so I was back on the air in about 20 minutes. And there were programs that were scheduled to run but they didn't have anything to run it on, but I had everything that I needed already. The way I had content, the people that were already, or the customers that were already on the air, they had contracts with that would run their program. And so all I had to do was make contact with these people and make contact with the advertisers and transfer it to my name instead of their name. So I had the content and I had the advertising and I had the financing to be able to go on the air. And so that's the way I got started. And it grew from there, because at one time I had over 120 different programs that were being furnished to me on VHS tapes at the time, because there were no DVDs back in those days. So quickly, and he actually was able to convert VCRs. I'm talking about professional VCRs, not the home ones that you would have, to start and stop playing with a timer. And he converted I had 12 VCRs that I was using at the time, and because he converted all of them so that they would start and stop, and or play all the way through the tape, or whatever way I wanted it to do. He fixed it that way, and he was one that was really smart and knew how to do it. But he was a great friend has been a great friend through the years, and now he's located at Liberty University as their communications director. The first situation, going from VHS, there was another format which was SVHS, Super VHS, okay? And it had much higher resolution than the VHS tapes had. And so the first transition was to go to the VHS, the Super VHS after that. And the picture quality improved greatly. And people got used to seeing good pictures. And I actually used some 3/4 inch equipment at one point. And then I actually switched over to a server, and I've had 5 different TelView servers through the years since I went to the server. And each was an upgrade with more memory and all kinds of. I can do as little as a 10-second commercial now. And the server can handle that.
Mm-hmm. And then from the 3/4 to
DVDs, and then you left it. Once I started doing, the server made it possible to move into files, MPEG 4, MPEG 2. AVI files, any of the video files, MOV, which is Apple, and so any of the files you could use on the server, and it would play through just as well as anything you could have asked for.
So what are you using today?
What I'm using today,
2026.
2026, I'm using MPEG 2 and MP4 files mainly, and I actually I have a software that will actually reduce the amount of memory it takes to do a 1-hour program. It's called Movavi Video Converter is the name of the software, and it actually will squeeze a file. I can do a 1-hour program now, and it only takes 1 gig of memory instead of 4. Okay, so therefore you're actually compressing it, and there is absolutely zero degrading of the picture. It never moves from the quality it already was to begin with it's still as good as it was at 4 as it is with 1 place, because once I got started, I went to Sony Institute in Los Angeles, California, and took a course out there. And then I had meetings for about 12 years. I had meetings every year in Las Vegas, Nevada, in August of each year, and they had classes to refresh you and keep you updated on what the latest technology was. Games, I had 7 people working for me, because I had 2 play-by-play guys. In case one couldn't be there, you had a substitute for them, and both of them were equally well voiced on things. I had 3 camera people, and then myself. I produced the game. So, but that gives you an idea how many it actually took to put the ball games together. Yeah, and baseball games. So I didn't cut quality whatsoever, because I always wanted to have what was the best for the job. My signal was covering 3 million homes.
On Comcast.
Mm-hmm.
3 million homes.
That's a lot of coverage, isn't it?
What is the coverage today, approximately?
I don't really know. I'm covering the area, because a lot of people don't have cable anymore.
Oh, that's true.
But that's
streaming.
neither here nor there. The people that are on the air with me are very pleased with the service that they get.
Yes. And how can you get program on your channel?
How do I get programs?
Now, how can anyone submit for program on your channel? Any new submissions accepted?
If they, sure. But all they have to do, I have when I happen not to have a program on, I'm running a billboard that tells them how to communicate with me, and if you have interest and so forth.
Oh, okay. And what are the call letters again?
WTJV.
Channel 3. WTJV, Channel 3.
That was the sponsor on my ball game.
Walmart.
And Lowe's and
all the car dealerships.
Every car dealership, and also I had Walgreens was one of my sponsors. It was just unbelievable. They all wanted to be a part of it. Okay, so that's easy to do. Back when I was in very young, okay, which was before Power's days. Powers actually started in 1954. But to make a long story short, we had went on West End Presbyterian Church, and I was one of these World War II children, because during the war, gas was at a premium, and you couldn't get gas, and you couldn't get chewing. You couldn't even buy bubble gum. Okay, to think about that, because it was all saved for things to make things for the war. I guess that's the best way to say it. And the preacher had one of these Windstream trailers that he pulled behind his car, a 1941 Ford. And he came through the neighborhood where I grew up, and every Sunday he would pick up all the kids in the neighborhood and take them to church. And this is before Powell's Day. And it's real funny, but he was very mission minded. He was handicapped to a degree, because he had polio when he was at a young age, and his affectionate name was Bill Hill. Okay, he was a great person, and at a revival in 1953, January the 23rd, 1953, I accepted Christ as my Savior. Uh, and, uh, and and it's embedded in my mind when it happened, during a revival. And Powers had a youth group, but it wasn't a whole lot of youth at West End, but they had a huge group of youth at Powers Church at the time. And they kept wanting me to come and join them. And I could walk to church from where Powers was, from where I grew up. So it was no problem. Transportation wasn't a problem anymore. So I wound up moving my membership and joining Powers Church, and been there ever since. When I was 7 years old, a family moved in across where the high school is today, and it was a wooded area at that time. And they had a school bus, and it had been converted into a place that had living quarters in it and all. And they had 4 children, and the mother and father, and I could see they didn't have anything. And so, me being me, I decided that it was the right thing for me to do was to go and see what I could do to help them, if nothing else, survive, I guess you might say. But they moved in, and I went all over the neighborhood and went to all the people that I could consider friends in my neighborhood. And I asked them, would they help donate to help this family that moved in from Arkansas. And I said they really don't have a whole lot of anything, and they moved here because they knew it was industrial plants here in the Hopewell area, and they wanted to find hoping they could find a job, that he could find a job and support his family here, because in Arkansas it was just a bunch of poor people. And so I went through the neighborhood and collected money, and on Thanksgiving I took them a Thanksgiving meal, a turkey and a ham, and I remember those 2 items, and then all the things, the dressing and everything that you do with the Thanksgiving dinner, and went to their trailer door or their school bus door, what it really was, because it was a converted school bus. And told them that I had something for them for Thanksgiving, and the next day was Wednesday, and the next day was Thanksgiving, and so they had Thanksgiving dinner because of that. And it was to me it was a highlight, because I was doing something to help somebody that needed help. And then at Christmas time, I did the same thing. I went to the neighbors and told them that if they would help me, I wanted to do the same thing for this family for Christmas. Only I wanted to be able to give the children something for a Christmas present, each one of them something for Christmas. And I didn't know how poor we were myself, because we didn't have anything, but you didn't think about it back in those days. You just did what you could do, And so on Christmas Eve afternoon, I went to their school bus and knocked on the door, and I said, told them who I was and that I had something for them. And they came, the kids came to the door first, and then the parents came, and they saw I had a wagon with some things in the wagon. And they said, my goodness, because I already had got my mom to wrap the gift for me. And see, here I was, a situation where my father had passed away, and so I had a mom that wasn't even married at the time. But we were doing all right, because we were happy, you know what I mean? But when I went in, when I gave those people those gifts, and gave them another meal for Christmas, the two parents actually broke down and cried and said, "There's nothing we could do to thank you for what you did. We didn't have anything to give our children, and you just made that possible for us."
Mm.
Well, it is true. When you're you don't think about when you're growing up. You don't think about the fact that you don't really have anything, uh, and you don't miss it because you never had it. But in a way, your mind feels like, well, you're not worth anything because you are poor. But I don't like for people to feel that way. I like for them to feel like they are important, and they do matter.
Your wife's father was the
My
number
wife's
one
father.
was the number one producer of peanuts in the state of Virginia.
He went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina to receive the award 2 years in a row.
In Southampton County.
From Southampton County. Actually, they call it Cortland, Virginia, because it was the county seat was where they didn't actually live. They lived on the farm, but that was what they considered their address.
Yes. And how did you meet your wife?
At Eagle Eyrie.
Happiest day of your life.
Yeah. And I happened to have been with a person from Powers. The two of us went. Terry Swift was his name, and he became a seminary professor for the Southern Baptist Convention. He was at two different seminaries. He was at the one in Texas and the one up in San Francisco. I said, "Terry," and believe me, I'd dated a lot of girls. I was 22 years old when we got married. I wasn't just a young person, because I had obligations. When my father wasn't there, and so I had to leave school at the age of 16 and go to work and support a family. Then I went back to school and got my diploma and did all and I got college course credits and did all the things that a person could do to improve their life.
But how did you know she was the one?
Something sparked inside of me. I don't know how to really put it, but I said, "Terry, see that girl up there?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I do." I said, "I'm going to marry her." I did. I told him that. We're going to get married. And then, and we hit it off pretty well. And I had been very fortunate through the years, because just to give you an example, I had dated a girl named Connie Swartz, and her father was Secretary of the Interior for the United States government, and they had a farm out in the country, out of Washington D.C. area, and they had a horse farm out there, and I used to go there, and we used to horseback ride a lot together. But it was never anything but friendship. But when I saw my wife, who became my wife, I just felt something different. And I never went with anyone else but her from that point on.
Awesome. You spent 8 years, what?
I was chairman of Crater District Area Agency on Aging for 8 years, and before that time, no chairman had ever been a chairman more than 1 year. But when I became chairman, we had a problem, and it was the director that was the problem, and I fired the director, and because of stealing, and he tried to get unemployment, and it was a difficult time for the agency. But because of that difficult time, they wanted me to continue on as chairman and get them through this problem that I had discovered. And so he even applied for the unemployment insurance, and I went to the hearing, and I had an attorney with me, and the attorney, the person that was the chairman, that was the head of the director before that I fired, came in with a stack of papers about this high. Because he thought I was going to say that he was fired because he was having an affair with his financial officer, and that wasn't what I. And so they asked me this question: for what was the reason that you fired this person? And I said job performance was not up to satisfactory standard, and he was fired. He turned blue in the face, so to speak, but and he put his papers down on the floor. He knew he was lost. Yeah, he said, "How did you know what to say?" And actually, he was man enough to congratulate. He said, "You did an outstanding job. You did what you were supposed to do."
Played basketball, and I was in the band, and I was very active in school. I've always been that way. Sometimes my mouth gets me in trouble. You know how that is. You say too much.
What instrument?
I started out playing the flute, and then I went to the cornet because they needed that.
Do you know how to play any instrument today?
I play a piano,
Oh,
but my fingers don't really now allow me to do as much as I'd love to. I played all the way through high school for my church, but
and
yeah.
do you play?
No.
No.
I do the music for the church, though.
Yeah.
We don't have a pianist, and so I have a pianist that comes in once a quarter and does a whole quarter's worth of music, and I put them each on CDs for each Sunday, and we play the music, the hymns that we're going to sing, and all that.
Yes, yes.
All I have to do is start and stop the player, and we get it done.
Lots of places.
Oh, how was your trip to Israel?
Oh, we love it.
And
We
what?
went twice.
And you say you've been to Mount Sinai.
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think of what's going on today?
We should not be there. We should tend our own business.
And when you're dealing with people in the Middle East who are dealing with Sharia law, what their beliefs are as far as holiness, it's not a matter of taking away their weapons. If in their heart they believe they must do this, they must annihilate anybody who does not believe what they believe.
Exactly
Right.
Right.
But they don't understand that.
No. My best friend is Jewish, and we have been to the bar mitzvah. I suppose most of
We
their
went
children.
to when they became of age, the children, the boys and girls, they invited us to their bar mitzvah.
And we didn't know how important that was. Our minister told us that you should be honored. Said they don't let Gentiles go there very often. I'm telling you.
Yes.
And they invited
Welcomed
us
you.
to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was unreal to hear when Ben went. The boy, the oldest one, 13 years old, and he quoted, what was it, how many chapters out of the Old Testament was part of this service.
He
was required.
Memorized all of it.
All of it.
And by the way, we just saw Ben he lives in Israel now.
He's married to an Israeli girl.
And he
What's
was,
kids?
and he was just here. We met him at Sam's Club the other day. So he was here.
I got to call his mom, see if he's got back home.
Yeah.
When he was in high school, he wanted to be a rabbi. He went to Petersburg High School. and his father's a lawyer, and they could well have afforded for him to go anywhere. And both of his sisters went to government school, but he refused to go.
He wanted to go to regular school.
He wanted to go with all the kids. He didn't want to be separate.
Yeah, yeah.
So he went and did everything normal kids did, but he wanted to be a rabbi.
Rabbi.
And he got his law degree
From UNC.
UNC.
University of North Carolina.
And then he went overseas to Israel. And he had been to summer before, and he joined the Israeli army because he is part, Jewish.
Yes.
His mother and father both are.
Yeah.
And so he is a citizen of Israel as well as an American citizen. He has dual citizenship.
Oh, okay.
And he served his 2 years when he got married in the Israeli army.
And he's back there now.
And living, and he was a professor at the university there. He's working now, I think, in synagogue in Jerusalem.
So he became a rabbi
He's
in the
I
process?
guess he studied. It takes a long time.
That is
to do
awesome.
that. Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, we laugh. He's got 6 kids.
Out of high school.
Yeah.
I know. His mother laughs. She worked for me.
At social
services. I met her in Petersburg when I worked in Petersburg Social Services.
Yeah.
And then I transferred to Prince George Social Services. And then she then had remarried and was starting a family. And she just wanted to work part-time.
Right.
So she came right there. I was part-time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've kept our friendship.
Been friends ever since.
Find that. And let me tell you one thing. If you have a Jew as a friend, they are a lifetime friend, life or death.
Wow.
I mean, people can't explain that. You just can't because, friends come and go with us.
Yeah.
What you call friends, not with them. You're always their friend.
Wow.
Her family takes us as part of, and just about all of her and Mike's, both of their families have passed away now. Her mother-in-law's both of her parents.